A unique request from you guys. So in this video, I am going to show you how to make those repeatable pattern tiles so that way it's easy to fill in a design of your choice. Hello, welcome back. This is Cetriya, C-E-T-R-I-Y-A. It has been a bit, but if you are new, please check out the rest of my channels because I typically do stuff about art, do art streams and chat, sketch, and in the community post, I post inspirational boards to get you drawing. And for you loyal folks who's been with me, I'm glad that you're continuing to be here. Hopefully you voted in this poll. If not, you can always put your thoughts and comments in the comments below of any other type of art video requests. So in this video, we're just going to, I am going to show you guys how to make a repeatable pattern. And for this one, I did something very quick by grabbing some parts of my drawing that I personally liked and thought that it would make a great pattern. So for this part, I'm just going ahead and cleaning it out. That means basically anything. You could do hand drawn, or you could draw whatever type of characters or elements or items that you're going to put in your patterns, and clean it up, give it relatively a clean edge, and then afterwards we're going to go ahead and assort it and assemble it into a kind of collection or a cluster, and from there we're going to go ahead and make the repeat pattern. So for the most part, I do most of my repeats in Photoshop. You can do so in Illustrator also, and Illustrator has a pattern making tool. But the method that I am about to show you here in Photoshop can be done in basically any type of digital software, because what I'm going to be using is the marquee tool for the most part. So hopefully this is helpful for those who use maybe Affinity Designer or even Procreate or some other, art tools. It's not just Photoshop, but I keep it simple. I do use the more advanced tools, but that's for my day job. So now we have a clustering, and I'm just making it nice and pretty for the colors, picking a background color which is on a separate layer. And here I assembled my cluster into a corner, just assembling it out to fill in most of the artboard, but trying not to overlap all four corners. I just kind of want it in one or two corners, my bad. And I'm just adjusting colors to change out the elements and make it more unique or more complex than it really is. So again, you can make your design as simple as you want or as complex as you want, but once you get a sort of design that you like, we're good to go. So what I did was duplicate the layer of that clustering that you had, duplicate it, and then select the whole artboard and deleted the art there. And from there, the art that was off or outside of the artboard, I went ahead and pulled it holding the shift key or just using the arrow key, whichever works for you. You move it and then you just align it right there to the very edge. Again, I repeat this method, but this time I am copying the whole artboard. As you can see, I'm checking out all my layers, duplicating that entire cluster, including that new edge, doing the same repeat process of selecting the canvas, deleting what's not there, and this time I'm going in the opposite vertical direction. So if you could kind of see clearly, you can see how it's kind of working. You're basically cutting and pasting the edges and sliding it to the opposite direction. That way, when you make your whole pattern tile, those edges actually touch each other and then it repeats upon itself. So now I kind of sort of have something that I'm liking. I want to fill in a little bit more space, and you can see I am adjusting the flowers here and there. You can see that I'm kind of resizing, maybe recoloring, just to make it look a little bit more complex. From here, continuing on to what I did with my initial large cells, any new cells that I add or new clusters, I make sure to do the same repeated process. So as you can see here, other than just again changing up the colors to give it some variety, really going to make it look the way I'd like to, I duplicate that layer, select everything, delete it, and as you can see, I just go and push it towards the opposite edge, and from there those two edges will repeat. So from here, I'm just going to go ahead and repeat the same process until I get the whole artboard filled in a way that I think looks great. So I have finally finished creating that whole tile, so all the edges are repeated. Right here I'm just doing some quick color adjustments for personal reasons, but I ultimately decided to keep the background transparent. That way it's easy for me to use this pattern on a multiple of things and for color adjustment. Afterwards, I went ahead and flattened or copied all the artboards into one solid artboard. Then, and this is very important, what you're supposed to do is go into your edits, and instead of define brush, you define patterns once you select the whole canvas. And from there you can save it, and as you can see, you can go ahead and use a layers style and check the patterns. But honestly, if you're not on Photoshop, just saving that JPEG itself and then just copy pasting it within your own program will give you a repeated pattern basically. But for Photoshop, what makes it really great is that you can go ahead and the program would automatically tile it. And from there, you can use the layer styling. Just go ahead and set it to repeat for however large or small you want. Save it as a flattened JPEG or copy paste. And from there, you can go ahead and use it on your illustration. So let me just go ahead and hop into my illustration of my previous watercolor picture that I completed during our live stream. Again, if you have any questions about this process, just let me know below and I will answer your question. Maybe I'll have a part 2 kind of like simplified. I did the same thing with creating my manga tone patterns. I made the first video, and sometimes since I've been doing it for so long, it doesn't really click to me just how more simple I need to explain it. So feel free to go ahead and leave your comments below. So here I took the picture, copy pasted, or just using the Photoshop's layer style. But if you don't have Photoshop, you can copy and paste it. And from there, I'm just manipulating the size of the repeat or repeated tiles or pattern, just manipulating how it blends and whatnot. And from there, I'm using the technique that I had shown in my prior videos of using the layer mask, or in this case, if it is a layer styling instead of just a flat image, you can always just fill it in or not fill it in. But that might be a little bit more detailed than needed. So I would really just suggest copy pasting and erasing or adding back on what you need. So right here, I'm just doing a quick demo of what you can do with the patterns really. And typically I wouldn't really do it for watercolor stuff per se, but I figured this was a great chance. I'm just going in and adjusting and changing colors and saturations and erasing and adding on and things like that. And for kind of patterns, I would say once you get the patterns created, and I'll probably do this for another video, but once you get your patterns created, trying to get it to look like it's an actual pattern as part of a fabric or a character design is a whole nother video in it of itself. But pretty much you don't want it to just be, pasted on and stuff. So you kind of want to, erase some parts, lighten some parts, blend in some parts to make it look real. Anyhow, I hope this video was helpful. And again, if you got questions, let me know. But other than that, this was a unique request and I appreciate that. I do rather make videos that maybe some others have not made yet. And more than anything, if there is something that I do tend to see pop up, but I feel like others are better, there are other art channels besides my little one, I again post it in my community post tab. And anyhow, hopefully you enjoy this. Let me know in the comments below, and all the best till the next video. Happy drawing.